Janice and started her boot camp. I was searching, researching endless articles, watching several videos, and there was no foundation. And that was what was offered to me, was either foundational and introductory tools and I got to process. So with her guidance over these past 8 months, I originally wanted to start in 2020, but Janice provided all the tools that I needed to get started right away. So I'm very appreciative of all the hard work, dedication, and her holding me accountable to my goals. So I wouldn't be here today without the help from Janice. So thank you, Janice. So I'm very appreciative of all the hard work, dedication, and her holding me accountable.
Hello, 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 guys.
Today without the help from Janice. So thank you, Janice.
Hold on, let me try to figure out how to. Okay. Hopefully that works. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Good afternoon. Good to see you, Elizabeth. Good to see you, Segla. Okay, so before we get into it, I would love to hear any takeaways from yesterday. Any main takeaways or just things that you were able to think about once the session was over and you guys were like going through the work and going through the homework, anything that came, to mind, any aha moments from doing the exercise yesterday. And I would love to also talk about what came up for you when it came to the fear part of the exercise. What stood out to you when you was writing out the fear part of that exercise?
Uh, I'll go first. The fear part, I love where you asked us to document or face our fears, but then you also told us to parallel
Mm-hmm.
how we're going to counter that fear. I love that part.
Awesome, awesome. That's good. And which fear was most prominent for you?
Mine, you asked us to list three. I said, I will not realize the success I'm hoping for. I will be the target of theft or vandalism. I will not qualify for funding for startup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really common. Thanks for sharing. How about you, Segla?
So the fear part for me was the um vision part. Like I was thinking about the competition part, how to stay
Okay.
on track,
Mhm.
what to do to be always in the game.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the fear
competition.
part for me. Yeah,
Yeah,
competition.
that's real. That's real. Awesome. So I'm glad you mentioned that because we're actually going to be talking about branding today. And I'm going to share with you guys my formula for actually making sure that your store and your brand is actually set apart from the competition so that that's not even going to be a word for you because the store is going to be branded. So let me know if you guys can see full screen. Okay, you guys can see the slides. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So welcome to day 3, guys. If you guys are watching us on YouTube for the first time, welcome to our challenge. We are on our second day of the challenge. And so if you're watching for the first time, my name is Janice Fredericks. I am the Retail Genius Online. That's the Instagram handle. But I started my journey with my own beauty supply store back in 2010. I was hailed a pioneer in this industry. And from 2010, we operated our stores and then founded the Retail Genius in 2017, which was about 6, 7 years ago. And to date, we've helped Black beauty supply store owners gross over 3 million in revenue. This was actually in 2020 during COVID, all across America, the islands, and also we have stores in Canada now. So we are international, y'all. And my journey started, like I said, in 2010. I was 24 years old. I know I still look 24, but I was 24 years old. And I was working in the corporate space. I was working on Wall Street. I was very successful. I went to business school, got a degree, and did all the things that I thought I need to do to make my parents proud. But I was working that job and I absolutely hated it. It gave me so much stress and anxiety. And actually, one day, my doctor at the time prescribed me Xanax because of the amount of anxiety that I was dealing with at that job. And that was the day that I decided that I wanted to actually change things for myself. I knew that God did not have this plan for me to have to take medication to deal with a job. I just knew that that's what wasn't for me. And I saw myself in a beauty supply store and just watching so many Black women spend so much money, and even me just understanding how much money I spent myself. I just said that I feel like this is a business that I could make work. And so I made a decision one day to just go for the store, no looking back, no plan B, burning all of the boats. And what's so powerful about me not going back and burning all of the boats is because I didn't give myself any other option. This was the only option that I was giving myself. And so when you are laser focused and you tell yourself that there is no other option but to do this business and to go forward with it, you will see how fast you move. And so I opened my store in 2 months because I gave myself no other options. I wasn't applying for other jobs. I wasn't looking into other business. Like this was it. And I got it done in 2 months. And I did it without a huge budget. I did it without any type of videos or anyone online telling me what to do. And I made over 6 figures in my first year of business, and my store was 800 square feet of space. And now we help people literally double the space and also double the income and the revenue. And so to date, like I said, we've helped so many women. This is actually one of our conferences in Atlanta, Georgia, back in 2021. And we have different programs, but this year we have two main programs, which is my boot camp program. And then we have a platinum store launch service where me and my entire team will actually build the store for you within 12 months. Okay. I will be talking about the boot camp program actually today because a few of you emailed me about it. So I was gonna wait for that, but I'll share with you guys today the special that I have. These are some of the clients that we've helped all over America. And what I like to show is the range of the different cities. Grayson, Georgia, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Las Vegas, Los Angeles. It's just to show the blueprint is a blueprint everywhere. It works everywhere if you follow the instructions step by step by step. Tampa, Florida, Oak Park, Illinois, Orlando, Florida, Houston, Texas. These are all people who have used the blueprint, taken one of the programs, and applied everything and are successful. Some of them took my programs years ago and are on like their second and third location. So this has been the breakdown of the challenge. Like I said, we are on day 2 where we're going to be talking about our unique target audience. But if you missed yesterday, yesterday was day 1 with our developing our entrepreneurial mindset, because as I mentioned yesterday, you're going to have to watch the replay or come into the VIP room where you'll get the replay. Most of business, 90% of business is always going to be the mindset. The mindset, the mindset, the mindset, and then strategy is like 10%. But really, if we can master our mindset, master the fears, we will be ahead of everybody else. And so I shared about how some of our pioneers who came before us opened during Spanish flu of the 1920s. There were people, clients of ours that opened during COVID, which was the other pandemic that we recently all had. Then I also talked about when I opened during 2008, where there was like people were paying for gas 2x, 3x the price. It's all about mindset. No one in their right mind would have thought let me open a store during some type of pandemic or economic downturn where no one has jobs. And I showed yesterday how those people actually went on to become self-made millionaires, myself included. So it starts with the mindset, and then the second part is going to be the branding. So, branding is a really big part of making sure that your store is going to be set apart from the competition because obviously we have been shopping in stores where there wasn't a lot of branding. And it's really important. The stores that I see that are very, very successful, they do well when it comes to actually building a brand, not just a store, but building a whole brand. Okay. So we're going to jump into what does that look like? So the first thing that you want to think about is actually building the brand before you build the business. A lot of times, especially when it comes to building a store, a lot of people feel like they can't talk about the store until the store is here. That is a number one thing I hear about. I don't want to post about this on social media because what if I don't do it? But here's what I want to submit to you. When you build this brand and you post on social media and you create the brand around the business, once the store is open, you already have loyal customers who are ready and willing and wanting to actually support your physical store. Think about all of the hair care, hair pages, and brands that we follow online. I mean, I'm just talking about hair pages where all they do is just discuss hair. They have no store. They have nothing to sell. All it is just to give you good content on how to do hair, pretty pictures, things of that nature. And then you look up and you see these pages have millions of followers with nothing to sell at the end of it. So imagine you were to do the same thing, create your pages, start posting about beauty, start posting about your own routine, start posting about what you do for your hair, all of the things beauty, just to actually build your own tribe. So that when you do launch your store, you already have people who know, like, and trust you because that's how people spend their money, especially Black women. Okay, so you want to build the brand before you build this business. This is exactly what we did with New York Beauty Supply. The gentlemen on the end are actually the owners, and the women in the middle is their staff. And what they wanted to do was create a very feminine space because there were men. They wanted to create a very feminine space where Black women felt safe, right? Where Black women felt safe and they felt well taken care of. And for the men who are on, you don't have to feel a way about opening a beauty supply store because these gentlemen actually did it and they were actually very, very successful. They were the first Black-owned beauty supply store to open in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and it's because they led with feminine branding in their store. So let's talk about the importance of branding. Number one, like I said, trust factor. Trust is the biggest thing that you can do with your brand right now because for decades we haven't trusted the people who own these stores. When we walk into a beauty supply store and we see that there's someone who's Asian there, we're probably not going to trust what they're going to say about what products to use for our hair because we know that they haven't even built it. Second thing that it does is it creates a sense of loyalty. When you have a brand that is centered in a very strong experience and education, people start to be very loyal to you. And so I shared this story yesterday about how when people used to even shop at my competition because maybe I didn't have a particular brand they were looking for, due to their strong loyalty, they actually felt like they were cheating on my store. And that's exactly what you want to have with your brand is this strong loyalty that even when someone for whatever reason has to shop somewhere else, they actually feel adverse to it so that they eventually come back to you. It also gives you a sense of perception. Now, perception is going to separate you from the Asian owned stores that may be crowded, that may be packed, no organization, and your store, which is like the Black version of Sephora, which is neat, clean, beautiful women, educated people, right? That is the perception of it. It also helps with sales when you have a brand. When you have a brand, like people are saying, oh, I'm going to so and so beauty supply store, that recognition also boosts your sales in the end because they don't think about any other store. They're thinking about your store because of the branding that they remember. And lastly, there's a connection with branding and employee motivation. When you have a brand and you're not just another store, people feel tied to your mission and vision. That's why we started off our challenge with creating the mission and vision. Because when you have employees, especially in the retail space, we all know that employees have the highest turnover rate because for a lot of people, it's just another job. But when you tie your mission and vision and branding and you actually translate that to your employees now buy into your business. So they don't feel like this is just another job. And so you start to not only retain your employees longer term, but they also feel very motivated. Like, I just love working for a Black owned business with a mission because it just makes me coming to work that much better. Okay. So, what exactly is branding? So, branding is your identity plus the promise that you're going to deliver in the business. So, it's more than just like what we think like a logo and colors and marketing. It is the experience and the emotion that is going to drive people to your business. Okay. This is the marketing that makes people come to you. Okay. And then the branding is going to continue to bring people back to your store. So the branding starts with the vision. So your store must always tell some type of story. And for us on here, our stories are very similar. Like we are in this industry because we had some type of adverse experience in our own beauty supply store, right? We had some adverse experience which is leading us down this journey or down this road that has been less traveled by people who look like us. And so we are in this movement, and I always like to make the analogy of the civil rights movement, where it was the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, and people were all banding together for a particular fight. And right now we are banding together for this fight for economic justice and economic freedom, where Black people have been locked out of an industry that we spend the most in. That is a powerful story. Not many business owners could say that this is why they're starting a business. And that makes a world of a difference when people choose where they're going to spend their dollar. I could spend my dollar at an Asian owned store. I could spend it at a Black owned store where they have some type of movement behind why their business is there. It's just more than selling product and making money. So, a few questions you want to ask yourself. What do I want customers to feel when they walk in? What do I want them to remember me by when they leave? Okay, this is where that vision starts to become a reality. So I like to use what I've coined a five senses branding formula, right? So when you're thinking about your five senses, we have our sight, we have our sound, we have our smell, we have our touch and taste. So our sight is what are customers going to see in your store? What is the layout? What are the colors in your store? Is it bright pinks? Is it more neutral with browns? Is it royalty with purples? Is it bold with red? Like my store had red in it. What is the lighting like? Is it chandelier lighting that exudes high end? Is it regular lighting? What kind of signage do you have? So sight is really important. Okay, sound. What are people going to hear? What kind of music are you going to have in your store? Music is very important. If you're going to have rap music, you're going to attract a certain demographic. If you're going to have jazz music, you're going to attract a certain demographic. Are you going to have upbeat music? What is the music in the store? Because that's going to set the whole entire tone for the business. The ambience is going to be everything. So you need to decide what type of ambience you want because that is going to attract the demographic that. So if you're looking to attract younger demographic, younger girls, that's a certain type of music, that's a certain type of messaging. If you're attracting older women, women that's wanting to spend a little bit more money, that is a certain type of ambience as well. They're not going to want to hear vulgar rap music, curse words, things like that. I didn't play that in my store at all, right? So the sound is important. The smell. What are the scents that is going to welcome them to your store? Clean air scents, candles, fragrance. What is that going to, or maybe nothing. What is that going to look? Well, there's going to be a scent. If you don't create the scent, there's going to be like a scent there. So always be intentional about the scent that you want to create for your store. And you just want to be mindful that if your store is around food, that that can also play a factor too. Okay. Touch. Can they test the products? Right. In my store, we had testers because, again, I was always trying to look for an elevated experience. And this was one way I was able to separate myself from the competition because no one was going to spend the time and the money to create testers. And at that time, a lot of the brands didn't have testers. They do now, but at that time we had to create our own testers. So me and my mom had to go to the 99-cent store and buy a whole bunch of small little testers in order for people to look at these brands because again, back in 2010, people were looking and trying these expensive brands for the first time. And what we found is that someone would invest $20 in a curl cream, and because of the scent, maybe the scent was too strong, or maybe they didn't like the texture, the texture wasn't for their hair type, they would have lost all of that money, and then they're mad at us. So, in order for us to mitigate people wanting to do refunds and bring things back, as well as having an elevated experience that they couldn't get anywhere else, we created the testers. And like I said before, in 2010, these brands weren't doing testers. Some of them do it now, but we had to make that investment up front to create these testers. Now, Pam, which was the first client that you saw in that video, she's the owner of My Shade and Texture. She has an entire DIY bar where people, that's all they do is just test things. They mix scrubs. It's like an oil DIY bar. So they're mixing oils, they're creating their own scrubs. It's all of this is something that they can do on their own, but it gives them an elevated experience. And so I've seen on her Instagram page, people do like girls' night out because they're able to like mix and match their own concoctions and they're able to just have like a really enjoyable time. So touch is going to be a big part of it, right? And then taste. What kind of small extras can elevate the experience? It does not need to be food or beverage station, but when you do events, Mother's Day, anniversary, you can add certain things that people can sit down and have a bite, a complimentary, whatever, drinks, things of that nature. Okay. So some brands that have been very popular that we can learn from, one being Fenty Beauty. This is Rihanna's brand. And her promise for her brand was beauty for all. And so we know that she broke ground with creating 40 foundation shades that was all inclusive, diverse, and culturally relevant. And these are the things that we can think about that's outside the box. And so historically, our beauty supply stores have been, kind of, up and down, everything for everyone, right? And so thinking about what is your promise going to be in your store? What is going to be groundbreaking in terms of what the promise is? Glossier is another one. Their promise was skin first. So if you guys know Glossier, it's a very feminine looking space. People want to come in there just to take pictures because of how it looks and it's very cute. And so this is also something that you can be thinking about when creating your stores, right? What can be an Instagrammable experience in my store so that people literally will post and market the business for me? When you have a store that's beautiful, people literally want to shop there just to take pictures sometime. And that's fine because that is just the free marketing that you're going to get for your beauty supply store. Another one is Shea Moisture. This was one of the first brands that came out that had natural hair care, and they was focused on being tied to the Black community, right? With natural ingredients. They always talked about African heritage, and Shea Moisture, we know, is one of the pioneers that led the natural hair care movement 20 years ago when they got started, right? And this is what they were tied to. Ulta Beauty is a beauty supply store that promises all things beauty. Ulta Beauty is still a store that is primarily shopped by Caucasian women, but now they have mixed up their product mix. So now they have a lot of black owned brands in their store. So they have a unique mix of high-end brands plus our drugstore brands. But now their promise is to be all things in one place. And so over the past decade, we've seen Ulta Beauty really start to attract black women to their stores with their aesthetics. And now they carry more black owned brands. And so looking at Ulta Beauty and your own beauty supply store, you can literally take some of the concepts of their high end mixed in with the drugstore brands and create your own product mix based on what they've been able to do. So the next thing you want to consider is the psychographics of Black women, which is the buying behavior of Black women. This is a huge part of what's going to drive your branding because Black women value representation and inclusivity. So we want to always see ourselves in the marketing, right? Black women now are investing in quality and luxury experiences. And so the reason why it's so important for us to create beauty supply stores is because no one wants to walk into the cheap Asian owned store anymore. We are looking for something that is going to be elevated. And we don't want to shop in Sephora either because they don't have enough black brands, right? So we need more women to step up and give us the experience that we deserve and that we're willing to pay for, right? Black women are also very loyal to brands that give back to the community. Right. And we are seeking for education and empowerment. So making sure that when people come to your store that they are going to get the education that they're looking for, meaning everybody, not just you, but your sales staff has the proper training on all of the products in the store. And that is the job of your sales staff is to know what is in the store and how to use it and how to sell it. Okay, so why does this matter? Because it's the mindset plus the lifestyle. Okay, it's not just about income, right? I told you guys yesterday that I had people come into my store when I first opened that use their unemployment check to buy things. So it's not about income, it's about the buying behaviors, right? And so studying the buying behaviors of Black women is going to really be how you're going to win because we are the number one consumers in this industry, right? We spend billions annually, but again, we are underserved. And by understanding our values and aspirations, you can build a brand that people will want to shop at. So, for our assignment today, right, we want to be able to design our stores to the five senses that I just mentioned, right? And you want to appeal the experience. So, what colors and layouts for the site? What colors, layouts, and design elements fit your brand? What kind of music are you going to have? What kind of tone is going to set the mood for your beauty supply store? When it comes to the smell, what signature scent represents your store? Okay, what signature scent? You might gonna have to think about that one. But what signature scent is going to represent your store? For touch, what samples or displays can you think about or incorporate your stores so that customers can have a very hands-on experience? Another thing that I did that was really good was we had a wig station as well in our store. We sold a lot of wigs and we had a really beautiful wig station and it made people feel like they could sit down and try on all the wigs in the world and not feel rushed to make a decision, right? So wig station is paramount for your beauty supply store. And then taste, how can you add some small touches of hospitality to the overall experience for the store? So when we're talking about our brand promise, okay, you want to write 2 to 3 sentences, right? Finishing this statement. When someone shops at my store, I want them to always feel blank and remember blank. What are the 2 words that you want there? This is going to be your brand promise, okay? And if you guys haven't done this exercise, I want you to create your mood board. You can do this on Pinterest. You can do this on Canva to visualize the overall vibe of your store. So you can put the colors up there, the scents that you want up there, the type of lighting, like all of the 5 senses that we went through today. You want to put that on your Pinterest board or on your Canva board. Okay. So that is going to be our homework for this evening. Now, I want to talk to you guys about our program, because a lot of you guys mentioned it in email yesterday. So for those of you who are on now, I'm going to be doing a last round of this boot camp program. This is my 6-week program, where we do group coaching every single Monday night. And so inside the Beauty Supply Bootcamp program, we start this with a one-on-one onboarding call. So this is a custom call that is going to be sitting down with me to create your strategy to get your store open in 2026, and for you to have a custom roadmap for your 6-week journey inside of this program. So what is included is we start off with our group coaching calls, and right now they're held every single Monday night at 8 p.m. So we are talking about all of the things, business plans, funding. We're talking about building out our product mix. We are doing this every single week on our coaching calls, and this is your time to actually lock in, create your timeline for your beauty supply store, and get strategy every single coaching call with me. You also get personalized feedback of your work. So this is a program that is certified so that at the end of it, you get your certification so that you can take this to lenders. That is really one of the biggest keys to completing all of the work and all the assignments. So you see how we have little small assignments in this challenge. This is like the appetizer, and this boot camp is like the main entree. This is like the main dinner. Okay. So every single module has homework that you will be submitting so that at the end of it, you can be able to get your certification and show a lender that you actually took a program where you're building up a beauty supply store, specifically on beauty supply store. So you guys will have access to our world-class retail system. So this is our online portal. You get a username and password where you have access into all of our beauty supply operational templates, all of our manuals and guides and handbooks. So literally everything is already built. Everything is already built. This is a plug and play system where you take the templates that we have already given to you and you create your own stuff off of our templates. So all of our handbooks, our employee handbooks, like just this past Monday in a boot camp call, we went through our entire policies and procedures and employee handbook on that last coaching call this past Monday. So it's already built. You just have to plug and play the information. And then when you get on the coaching calls, we literally go through it together so that when you have your store open, guys, all of this is going to be done. And you're not going to be trying to figure out, like, what do I do? How do I do this? Everything is already done. You won't be creating anything from scratch. And then we have our private client only mastermind group, which is a group of high level entrepreneurs that are already owning beauty supply stores so that you have more than just me to talk to. You have other people who have already done this. All the clients that I mentioned in all my slides, they are part of this mastermind group. They're very, very nice people. They're helpful. And this is literally where you can actually talk to someone who's already been doing what you're going to be doing. Not your husband, not your mom, not your sister, your brother. Those people are good for family conversations. But business conversations need to be with business people because all they're going to do is talk you out of it. They're going to tell you need to stay at your job. That's what my mom did. She told me I should stay at Wall Street. When they fired me, I just need to find another job. And if I listen to my mom, who I know loves me more than anybody in this world, I wouldn't be where I am today because she wasn't a business person. She doesn't know anything about business. She just knows about nurturing, loving, raising kids. This is why you need a mastermind group, because when you hit the roadblocks and you hit the challenges, these people are going to tell you to keep going. These people are going to tell you this already happened to me. And let me tell you what I did to move past this challenge, to move past this roadblock, because there are going to be people in your family that are going to tell you, oh, forget about it. Just give it up. You can do something else. You got your degrees. You can find something else to do. Business people are going to tell you to move forward and they're going to help you figure out the next step. That is the power of having a mastermind group. So it's not just me. You're getting a whole bunch of people who have been doing this for years and are very successful at what they're doing. Okay, so in this program, there is no lack of access to the right vendors. This is actually a screenshot from our private Facebook group with one of our clients who literally joined the program, and the next day she wrote this in our group. She says, within the week of getting the vendor list from Janice, all of this happened. Motown Trust, Harlem, all of these major hair stores have reached out, open accounts, and the lines of communication have been open. So literally, we give you guys all of the resources that you need, all of the vendors that we use, the pricing, down to the pricing. Like I literally tell you guys how to price your stuff, all of those things we actually go through together in this program. So right now we have our fast action bonuses. So you get your business plan done for you. So usually this is $3,000, but you will actually get it complimentary in this program. So we have a business writer who usually writes business plans for people that's in our platinum higher end program, but she's going to write the business plan for you because the goal is for you guys to get to the funding as fast as possible. And if we wait for you to create the business plan based on our template, that might take you a couple of months. She's going to get this done in 2 weeks. Okay. A full custom business plan done so that you can just start applying for the funding. So this is investor ready, bank approved format of all of the things that these lenders are looking for, which we're going to go through tomorrow. Either way, you're going to get the information on how to create a business plan. But if you want someone to create this business plan for you, you definitely want to be a part of this program. You guys are also going to get 12 months complete access into the program because I always update the videos. And so you will have 12 months access. So even if 8 months, 9 months down the road, you want to revisit it, you have the ability to do that. So you have 12 months access to the program. So what's the investment? That's the biggest question. And everybody is the boss until it's time to pay the bill, right? So let me tell you guys something. The Platinum Store Launch Program, which is our program where we do the work for you, starts at $30,000 for our lowest tier. Okay. To work in a group coaching program, it's only $5,000. Okay. And that's again to get access to the program, 6 weeks group coaching calls, live trainings with me and my team. So one of our team members, who is Josh, he's our funding person. He's a person that helps people through the funding process. He did our second coaching call where he broke down for the ladies how to get $150,000 in funding. So you get access to the team when you come on the coaching calls, as well as all of the templates, guides, milestone calls, and all of the bonuses that I just mentioned. Okay, so right now the down payment for everyone on this call is only going to be $500. You book a call with me so that we can actually create your action plan. So this is going to be our one-on-one call with me to create your action plan to actually get started in beauty supply, because this program is custom and it's for anyone who has the desire to open their store in 2026. So you don't need to have perfect credit. You don't need to have all the things. You don't even need to have a LLC. If you know that this is something you want to do in 2026 and you don't have the roadmap, you don't have the business plan, you don't have the credit, this is where you want to start. Now, if you're someone who have been doing this for a while and you have the money to do our one-on-one program, then you can email me. But for everyone else who's starting and you are a beginner and you want to get the foundational elements, then this is the perfect program for you. Why? Because our clients have a 100% success rate, because I have perfected all of these strategies over the 15 years that we have been doing this program. And there's actually no other service business out there right now, well, that's not in the news, because we know there's people that's been in the news, but there's no other business out there that's actually doing this for Black people, for Black women. And I'm very proud to have been leading many Black women to success. So my personal guarantee is that if you take this course and you apply yourself and you do all the work and you show up to all the coaching calls, that you will have everything that you need to start your own six-figure beauty supply business. Okay, that's the guarantee there. So the question that most people ask themselves or need to ask themselves as someone who's coming from a 9 to 5 into entrepreneurship is, what is it costing you not to open your beauty supply store? Like literally, can you afford to be in the same place you are right now 12 months from now? Most of the time, the answer is no, unless you are living a beautiful life and you got a rich husband. The answer is going to be no for most of us. We need to make some type of change in our life for us to be where we want to be and achieve our goals. And every single year that you don't open a store, that's 100,000, 150,000 that you could have been making that you did not make. And so for many of us, now is the time to get started. Okay, so like I said, all you need right now is your deposit of $500. $500 gets you in the building. And then we have payment plans. And if you pay in full, you save $1,000. Okay. So if you want to get started with that and you want to book a call to get started with that, I'm gonna leave the link in the chats for you to book your call. Like I said, the only thing that's required is the deposit of $500, and that gets you in the building. And so now what I want to do